you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I have now realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest.
Branagh and Emma Thompson star in an all-star cast. Much Ado About Nothing this afternoon at 1:10 Coming up next here on BBC Two, comedy and music in Kiss Me Kate.
Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Comedy Performance, Best Soap, the best in the business. The British Academy Television Awards with Michael Parkinson. Sunday at 8 on BBC One.
The new issue of Radio Times contains features on forthcoming BBC programmes, together with complete listings for all television and major satellite channels. And BBC Television and Radio come together this summer for the 105th season of the BBC Proms. Full details of all the concerts can be found in the 1999 BBC Proms Guide.
The war in Yugoslavia has brought the phrase ethnic cleansing to our language. The inside story of how the war exploded is told by Slobodan Milosevic and his rivals in The Death of Yugoslavia. See the 3-hour version of this award-winning series, Saturday at 9:05 on BBC Two.
The news now on BBC Two with Emma Howard.
Good morning. The headlines. A man arrested in Hampshire yesterday has arrived at a London magistrate's court this morning charged with 3 nail bomb attacks. And NATO air raids cut power supplies across Serbia overnight. Tony Blair visits the Balkans later today. A man is due to appear before magistrates about now, accused of carrying out 3 nail bomb attacks in London. Police say footage from CCTV cameras will play a significant part in the case.
An armoured police van brought alleged nail bomber David Copeland to West London Magistrates Court this morning. The 22-year-old engineer is charged with murder and causing 3 explosions. The first went off in Brixton 2 weeks ago, injuring members of different racial groups, including a toddler who had a nail embedded in his brain. The second bomb in Brick Lane a week later was in the heart of London's Bangladeshi community. And Friday's bomb in a gay bar in Soho was the worst. Over 100 people were injured. 6 are still fighting for their lives, including 26-year-old Julian Dykes. His pregnant wife Andrea and his best friend were killed in the blast. Gays, ethnic minorities and the wider community have responded defiantly to the bombings, refusing to be intimidated. The police arrested the accused at this house in Cove, Hampshire at the weekend. They describe him as a loner not linked to any of the racist groups that claimed responsibility for the bombings. Leon Hawthorne, BBC News.
Large parts of Serbia, including Belgrade, were without power overnight after NATO airstrikes on power plants. Russia will today keep up its momentum to find a diplomatic solution to the conflict. Its special envoy, Viktor Chernomyrdin, is due to hold talks with President Clinton.
Signs that diplomacy might be back on doesn't mean that NATO is calling its military campaign off. These and other jets last night left their air bases for the 40th successive day. And the signs are the aerial attacks are getting more intense. This film was playing on television in the Yugoslav capital Belgrade when a NATO missile hit electricity supplies. Power was off for 7 hours, the first time the city has been blacked out. The first of two new moves to end the conflict peacefully came after 3 American prisoners of war were freed yesterday. The man behind their release, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, will today hand a letter to Bill Clinton from the Serbian leader Slobodan Milosevic. It's thought the letter calls for a direct meeting between the two presidents. But it's the Russian envoy Viktor Chernomyrdin who probably has the more realistic chance of progress. After his talks with Mr. Milosevic, he's due to meet Bill Clinton today. He may have fresh ideas on the makeup of any peacekeeping force. But NATO has other tough conditions to be met, especially the withdrawal of all Serb forces in Kosovo. Unless the Russian package can answer these issues as well, it's difficult to see how NATO could or would want to call off its operation. Duncan Kennedy, BBC News.
And in the last few minutes, Tony Blair left Britain for a 2-day visit to Macedonia and Romania. Whilst there, he's expected to show his support for the countries having to deal with the refugee crisis. Our correspondent Bridget Kendall joins me now from Skopje in Macedonia. Bridget, we know Tony Blair has just left. What's going to happen when he gets there?
Well, he has quite a packed schedule. It's a short visit. He's only here until this evening when he flies on to Romania. He's expected to meet some of the British troops who've been stationed here, hear what they're doing, no doubt thank them for their work, particularly with the refugees. He's also going to visit one of the refugee camps that British troops helped construct. But the main purpose of his visit is to see for himself exactly what the conditions of refugees are here, and also to have talks, direct talks with the President and the Prime Minister of Macedonia. This is both a fact-finding mission, if you like, but also morale boosting, an attempt for the British Prime Minister to make the gesture to the Macedonian government that Britain is concerned, particularly concerned about the refugee crisis, the Macedonian government's worries. They're being overburdened with that, and no doubt he'll reassure them, as we've heard from Downing Street in the last day, that Britain certainly intends to take more refugees.
And Bridget, is he likely then to use this visit to announce that Britain will take more refugees?
I think that's quite likely. At the moment, we've had a rather veiled comment from British officials. They've already consistently said they will take thousands. At the moment, though, Britain has only taken 330 refugees, just 2 plane loads, which is absolutely nothing if you compare that with Germany, that's taken 10,000, and even much smaller countries like Holland and Slovenia have taken more than Britain. So I think it's quite likely, although nobody is absolutely pledging that that will be the case, it could be that the announcement would either be made in London or be made after he leaves here.
Bridget, thank you very much indeed. Now, more than 100 people have been arrested in Glasgow after Rangers beat their arch-rival Celtic 3-0 last night to clinch the Scottish Premier League title. The referee needed treatment after being struck by an object thrown from the crowd. At least one man was stabbed outside the ground. Fire crews have been fighting a blaze on a high-speed ferry in the Irish Sea. The Stena Explorer was crossing from Holyhead to Dunleary when the alarm was sounded at just after 5 this morning. The ship docked safely in the Irish port 30 minutes later. None of the 174 passengers and 50 crew was hurt. A team of climbers on Mount Everest say they've found the body of the British mountaineer George Mallory, 75 years after he disappeared. The expedition hopes to discover whether Mallory was the first man to set foot on the summit, beating Sir Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing by 3 decades. And Sir Edmund said today Mallory's camera had to be found in order to prove the mountaineer actually made it to the summit.
Unless they can find the camera and can get films from it which indicate they have actually been on the summit, we'll probably never know.
The Irish swimmer Michelle de Bruin will try to clear her name today of allegations of taking performance-enhancing drugs. The triple Olympic gold medal winner will appear before a hearing in Switzerland. She was banned last year when a urine sample she gave showed evidence of having been tampered with. And that's all for now. The next news is on BBC One at 1 o'clock.
And a very good morning to you from the Look North newsroom. The main stories from us this bank holiday Monday. A man remains in a critical condition after falling from a building in Bradford while trying to escape from police. The 24-year-old, who hasn't been named, is said to be in a serious condition in the Leeds General Infirmary. A Hull man is celebrating becoming one of Yorkshire's longest surviving heart transplant patients. John Cape Melbourne was originally given just a week to live by doctors after his operation in 1989. But he regained his health and today is fit and well exactly 10 years after his operation. An offer of free accommodation for new primary school teachers in Hull has been dropped. Homes on the Bransholme estate were offered along with the jobs, and more than 100 candidates applied. But Hull City Council has been forced to withdraw the offer because of a legal technicality. Those are the main stories in brief from us so far this morning. Let's have a look at the forecast. Loads of things organised for today. It looks good as well. Sunny and warm, just a little bit of light patchy cloud around this afternoon. But temperatures inland 20 Celsius, that's 68 Fahrenheit. That's it. Have a good day. Our next summary today over on BBC One at 1:05.
Hello, good morning. High pressure for most, but not all. Fronts away towards the northern and western parts of the British Isles, keeping the cloud pretty thick there. Sufficiently thick for the odd spot of rain across the Northern Isles and the Western Isles too. Even further south, bits and pieces of mist and fog, probably clearing away by the first part of the afternoon. Through the course of the afternoon, cloud bubbling up across many parts of England and Wales. Just the odd shower into the West Midlands later in the day. Perhaps some of the heaviest of the showers, though, across the northern parts of Ireland. And eventually, as we move further north, it's likely to stay pretty dull and drizzly across the northern and western Isles right through the course of the day. With onshore breezes coming into the eastern parts of both Scotland and Ireland, plus England, it looks as though it's going to be pretty cool there. But further inland, temperatures could touch 20 or 22 if you're very lucky. That's the weather.
I know I turned life upside down.
I was with Daniel. Don't sleep with him. Promise me.
I was with Ali. Neil doesn't know.
Oh, so that's okay, is it? I didn't want to hurt the people I love.
The Passion concludes tonight at 9 on BBC One.
Bob Langley gets out and about in another countryside hour at midday. First this morning, Howard Keels in fine voice in the musical comedy Kiss Me Kate.